everyone. My name is Stephanie. My pronouns are she, her, and you have stumbled across FrallaKnits episode number 6. I want to welcome you all here. It's been, I don't know, 2.5 weeks since I last recorded. I got back from just about 2 weeks away visiting family. It was a lot of fun. I do horribly with jet lag, so I don't know what time zone I'm in right now. I'm staying up really late, but then also getting up really early, so I have got my coffee with me. I've got some water. The lighting, I hope, is going to be okay. We have Tropical Storm Philippe, I think is who he is, coming through right now, so yeah, the lighting is not fantabulous, but we will work with it. It's pretty warm in here as well, and I tried to have the window open, but with the rain, it's coming from the south. This window faces south. It was making a mess. So I have a fan going. I have Crazy Cat locked out of the room, Sleeping Cat in the room, and 4 pages of notes to get through. So yeah, I guess I'll just get right into it. I'll probably intersperse stuff about my trip, especially in the extremely long purchases section. Yeah, I'll intersperse that like throughout. So buckle up and here we go. So September, I was planning Long Dog Sampler September. I have 3 long dogs. I stitched on all of them, and I'm just going to show you where I got to by the end of the month. The first one I'm going to show you, I had lost. I didn't know where it was during my last video, but I did find it. It was just downstairs, stored somewhere safe. So long dog number 1 is Opening Gambit. Let's see, this is where I got to. I am stitching it on a dark fabric. It's like a slate gray, and I'm using a sulky blendable. And yeah, I'm enjoying this. I love the colors together. And I don't know, I'd say I'm, let's say, 1/3 to 40% done. So that's going to be going away for now. I am planning in March, monochrome March. So that's probably when you'll see this guy again. All right. Long Dog Sampler number 2 is the Pointed Fifth. Here's what she will look like. I did notice that Lisa from Lost in Stitches, she's also working on this, but I think she is further along than I am. This one I have slightly better notes. I'm stitching it on a 40 count linen in the color Blush. And here we go. So this month I basically was working on the parts down here. I started, I think I got this pillar, and I started it on that ginormous whale and the cute little snail. So sweet. Again, this will be going away probably until monochrome March. Alrighty, Long Dog number 3 is a biggie. Not that they aren't all ginormous, but here we go, Death by Cross Stitch. And here is where I got to. I picked up, all of these flosses are Roxy Floss Co. I picked the colors out at the First Stitch North, but I actually ended up not buying them there. I ordered them off the Evertotes website once I decided that I was going to do this long dog in those colors. This one, who knows when I'm going to be bringing it out again. It's not monochrome, but I think in April I'm planning birds, and hey, long dogs have birds, so maybe it'll come out for that. All right, so whip number 4 that I worked on since I last saw you was the Mystery Garden Sal put on by Yasmin's Made with Love. It started, the first part released August 15th, second was September 15th, the next part is releasing October 15th. I had a very pitiful start, and my goal was to get caught up with the first 2 parts while I was away on my trip. This is where I got to. I did not finish the first 2 parts, shocking. I think this is the middle-ish, and so the first 2 parts are all the left side. Now, when I first started this, I stitched in the A and the B, and then I got sick of that color. So I wanted to get down into all the pretty little things down here. So I carefully counted, and I stitched down the K, down the U, and ended up in these motifs and stitched them around. So when I came back to it on my trip, I filled in, you know, more of the alphabet, and I think I noticed that there was something funky going on between the L and the B. And that's when I realized, after stitching down here and all this stuff down here, that my careful counting was not nearly as careful as I thought it was. And you'll see that the A is too far to the left. Although since the A and the B were stitched first, I would say that the rest of my design is too far to the right. So I don't particularly, I wasn't going to rip out all of this stuff down here. So my choices are to either rip out the A and the B to move them over, maybe even just the A to move him over a little bit. But I think what I'm actually going to do is come around, stitch here, stitch the bottom 2 rows of alphabet, and then there is room in between these letters, and I think I can probably make up this space that it's over by kind of smushing them together a little bit. Or, now that I think about it, maybe I want to spread them out so that it's over that much on this side. I am unsure, but long story short, my plan is to finish up the alphabet up here, part number 2, and then when 3 and 4 come out, I'm going to stitch everything except for the top row of alphabet. And at that point, I will decide what I'm going to do about this, whether I take out the A and B and stitch it where it belongs, or fudge the rest of the top. So yeah, so that's where that is at. All right. On the 24th and 25th, I stitch Christmas. And last month, I worked on Santa's Big Bouquet. I will say, when I was at my parents' house, I did not get nearly as much stitching done as I would have, that I was hoping. So it was a bit of a bummer, but you know what, we were visiting, we were having a good time. We were doing a ton of puzzles, and that's cool. I've gotten back into puzzling. I've kind of avoided it with having cats, and especially having a kitten, but you know what? She kind of just leaves it alone. So that's shocking. And as soon as I get comfortable with that, I'm sure she's going to destroy whatever puzzle I have out. So 24th and 25th, I was at my parents'. I got a bit done. I started working on Santa's bouquet of his big bouquet, and there's where we are. This is being stitched on 24 count Vintage Country Mocha Ada. And yeah, I just recently re-signed up for Teresa Kogut's Patreon. This was a Patreon chart July of last year. So I just signed up again because now that I'm starting more things, I thought, why not? All right, next up, I have Patchwork Halloween. This one definitely got the most work. in this last couple of weeks. I was able to stitch it on the plane. I did stitch a bit at my parents' place. Again, not a ton. Actually, no, that's a lie. I did not stitch it at my parents' place because it was still September. So I was working on the Santa's Big Bouquet and some long dogs and that mystery sampler. But I did stitch it starting October 1st. And here we are. Oh. I actually just noticed that Elizabeth from Savory Sewing just finished this and got it FFO'd. So goals. Here's where I am. This is being stitched on 14 count vintage country mocha Aida again, all the called for DMCs. I made one little change. See these candy corn here? In the pattern, you see how two of them are pointing up and then these ones are left and right? I didn't like that. I wanted them to all be different. So I flipped one of the ones that are pointing up to point down because I am crazy. So yeah, this one I've worked on for a few days, the first, second, and the third, maybe. But I'm hoping to get this done this month. It's cute, it's easy, 14 count Aida, easy purchasey. All right, other Halloween stitching that I started this month, Gigi by Nora Corbett. And by started, I don't mean started. This is almost finished. Here she is. She's beautiful. I have half a cat still to stitch and a little bit in here of her dress. All that I worked on, all that I did this this month, the one day that I pulled her out, was I put in some Krynic in her broom. Here she is. And yeah, there's some sparkle happening now. Oh, I guess I did a little bit of her over one skin in here too. So I do have to finish that. So a little bit of dress here, a little bit of swoopy in here, half a cat, over one skin. I totally am doing this. And the rest is all beading. I actually just ordered some new beading needles because I don't know where mine are. So there she is. She's beautiful. I am excited to get her done. All right. And the last thing that I've worked on since chatting with you last, I pulled out Autumn at Hawk Run Hollow. Now this one, I believe Laura at Lolody Stitches is working on. And I didn't have plans to pull this one out. However, when we get to my plans section of this video, you will see that there has been a fairly significant overhaul in what I'm doing because plans are made to be broken. So I am stitching this as called for. I am splurging and got the MPI silks. Not all of them yet. Here's the ones that I do have. They are so soft, so wonderful. If I had known better when I started this, which was December of 2021, I probably wouldn't have splurged for the silks. I didn't realize MPIs, they're fairly solid, if not solid. There's not a ton of variegation. They are lovely, they are soft, they are silk, they are shiny. But I am now at the point where if I'm gonna splurge for a floss, I want it to have some variegation. I don't know, so it looks like, you know, I splurged for it. Oh, I should say, this chart and this shirt, Autumn and Stars Hollow, I actually got from the Autumn and Stars Hollow Digital Retreat, which was a couple of years ago. I guess it must have been the summer of 2021 since I started this in December of 2021. I actually won the grand prize at the end of it. And this shirt, this pattern, and a whole bunch of other goodies were in it. So that was awesome. And that Christmas, so Christmas of 2021, I mentioned to my partner that I wanted to kit this up. Look at here's all the called for colors. Like, as far as MPIs, they are not cheap. There's a ton of them. So I chose 24 of the colors that I thought I would need for the top and maybe the first couple of blocks. And I gave the list to my partner. Actually, you know what? I probably ordered them for him. And I asked him, can you please make me an advent calendar with these silks? And so he did. So I got 24 of them. And I think now that I'm working on it again, I will probably do something similar for this Christmas. So anyways, here's where I am. I have I will go out on a limb and say most of the top scrolly bit done. And maybe I can even say most of this block, maybe not most. Lots of that block done. I think I just got sick of stitching up here and I wanted something a bit different. So yeah, there's where I'm at right now. I did notice that I'm actually missing one of the silks. I can't remember what one it is, but for one of these two pumpkin colors. I have one, I don't have the other. So I would like to get this block done minus that one thing of pumpkin and maybe move on to the other one. We'll see. I don't really have any solid goals. Maybe finish the top. You know what? I did luckily have that corn finished. Laura mentioned in her Flosstube that that corn is serious. There are, I don't know, 7 colors in those kernels. Lots of confetti. It looks gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Yeah, so I would like to finish this maybe, and I'll probably pick out 24 more silks if I can be so bold and ask for them to be my advent calendar. Last year I got the Leo and Roxy and Modern Folk Embroidery and Evertote countdown box. I did not get that this year, so I think I'll go for that. Sorry, I have Sleeping Cat has decided that the back of my chair is a good place to be. This is Toffee. We'll see how this goes. All right. So that's everything that I've worked on. Oh, that's a lie. I actually have an FO. It was a start and finish. What? It's tiny though, don't worry. So here we go. My start and finish. He's so cute. I did this just last night. I have been watching a bunch of Flosstube. There have been a bunch of finishes all over. I have too many large projects and too many squirrels. Here, one more squirrel that distract me. So I picked up Beth Twist's Festive Little Fobs Harvest. Here, I'll put a picture here. I picked up a PDF version of it, and my plan, oh, cat, no. My plan is to stitch a whole bunch of these and get, I think she has 10 or 12 pamphlets of Festive Little Fobs. My plan is to get a bunch seasonally and stitch them. I have hanging by our front door, it's a metal thing with 5 hooks on it. You usually, I think it would probably be for keys. We used it for all of our cloth masks during COVID. So everyone got their own hook and we hung our masks right by the door. You can grab it when you went, and that was that. Anyways, we don't use cloth masks anymore. In the few times that we've needed them, we just use disposables because I don't think our health region here really acknowledges that the cloth masks, they are not as good as the disposable ones, I guess. So long story long, I'm gonna make a bunch of these and hang them on the hooks by the door and change them out seasonally. So here is number 1. I'm just gonna finish them flat as like a little ornament, put on some ribbon, and we'll hang them. So finish. All right, next. drum roll, I have some FFOs. I cannot believe it. They are sewing / stitching FFOs. I made some project bags. I mentioned a couple of videos ago that I had seen Kelly of Pages and Stitches. She had made some project bags, and the things that I loved about them, two things that I loved. They were all fabric, no vinyl front. I love that. They also had a top zipper, which means that I can make them fit my 11 by 11 Q snaps. I don't need the front zipper. So anyways, I made two project bags, one of which I used finished stitch. So I guess I've FFO'd my stitch into a project bag. And this project bag I am planning on using for a salve that I'm going to be doing with Elizabeth at Savory Stitching starting on Friday the 13th, the All Hallows Eve salve. So he's living in here. And yeah, so this was actually the second one I made. I just had a fat quarter of this moon fabric that kind of, you know, went with the moon here, yellow zipper, gray on the inside. I used, I think they're called French seams to finish it. So this was number two. Number one is here. This is from the Pearl line. I have my Pearl quilts that I still need to quilt. Uh-oh, Crazy Cat has made it in. Hello. So this, and there's what's in the middle on the inside. My zipper skills, no good. So this one, much better, I would say. Although I want to figure out how to sandwich these ends in between the two layers. I'll figure that out. So number one here, number two here, love it. And I think number three, like I said, I'd like to figure out how to better hide the zipper ends. And as I was making these French seams, I realized, oh, wait, so I have the back with fusible fleece and then the lining fabric. And then I have the lining fabric and fusible fleece in the front. And I have them all laid out. And then I do, you know, sew around here and then flip it inside out and sew around it again. And as I had it all lined up to sew the first seam, I thought, why don't I just bind this like I would bind a quilt? That would be easier. So I'm going to try that for bag number three. So there's my FFOs, two project bags. I have a lot of project bags because I have a lot of projects, but I still have a ton of Ziploc project bags. So I am happy to be making some prettier ones. All right, so that's my cross stitch. Mine is a whole bunch of haul that's coming. I'll move on to quilting. I didn't get any of the quilting done on my trip that I was wanting to. Shocked. I brought along my Dear Jen quilt that I was going to hand piece. I brought along fabrics to cut out more pieces to hand piece. I didn't touch it. But what I did do when I came home is start my simple sampler. And behind me on my design wall, I have an assortment of the fabrics that I'm using and an assortment of the wools that I intend on using. So what I did since I've been home, I cut out the pieces for all of the pieced blocks that go in the center. I haven't cut out the pieces for this block, and I haven't cut out the pieces for the applique blocks. So I can't remember what day it was. Friday, maybe Thursday. I sat down, well, stood up at my cutting table. I put on Flosstube. I watched, who did I watch? I watched So Tattered's new video. She's fantastic. I love her quilting. I love her cross stitch. I love her just overall vibe that she puts out. Super calming, really funny. I'm sure you're watching her. She has approximately 1 million followers. And so I watched her new video. I also watched Handmade by Sarah W's new video. So that was about 2 hours of Flosstube, standing at my cutting table, cutting. I could barely move afterwards. And let me just grab these. So I put together the center block. I wanted to kind of see how everything played together, and I love it. I was worried that this background fabric was going to be a bit too busy, but I actually think it's all good. And then so that's this block. And then I'm working on these 4, and they're at the sewing machine right now, but here's kind of a start on one of them. It's the center. So it'll be the center, and then let's see. Oh, so this is there, and then so I'm making the square in the square. There we go. Zoink. And I have the pieces cut out for the other patchwork blocks. They're ready to go. I didn't want to cut out the applique block backgrounds yet because all of these triangles are made with the same fabrics that are in the other blocks, and I don't trust myself to not mess up in the sewing of the blocks. So I cut out everything for the patchwork blocks. Once I get them happily pieced, I will then go and use all of the leftover fabrics in those applique blocks. So yeah, that's the only quilting that I've gotten done. I've only done it since we got home. All right. The Flosstube name is FrallaKnits, and I am severely lacking in knitting recently. Yeah, I've been loving my quilting, loving my stitching. Although my eldest just asked he wants a pussy hat and a sweater vest. And if your kid asks you for knitting or quilting or anything, it gets bumped to the top of the list. So once we pick out patterns and yarn, you'll probably see that. Okay, on to purchases. There's a lot. So like I said, I went to visit my parents. They live in the Okanagan of BC. It's wine country. We had a great time, and I managed to find stuff to buy for crafting because that's how I roll. So the first chunk of purchases that I have, my parents both volunteer at the Kiwanis thrift shop. And I keep on seeing on people's Flosstubes, people going to thrift stores and getting amazing, you know, finds. And I wanted part of that. So I came back with 3 cross-stitch magazines, which, you know, I may or may not stitch out of them, but, oh, that guy is beautiful. And I love ladybugs. Oh, ladybugs and dragonflies? Okay. I will definitely be stitching out of these eventually. So I got those 3. I'm just trying to find places to put stuff. I also got 3 quilting books. First one, In Love with Quilts. And let's see, I have something marked in here. Oh, yes. It has this block in it, Star of the Orient. I love a rainbow. And that is just a cool way to make a rainbow block in a quilt. I love it. It looks complicated and maybe I'm in over my head, but I would love to make eventually a quilt with that block. It's beautiful. Or maybe I can just use that block and make it into a project bag. Ooh. The block is 14 by 14. Yeah, that would work to fit my 11 by 11 Q-snap. Ooh. Okay, so If I take that long on each piece of haul, we're gonna be here forever. I also got winter warmers, more quilts. And let's see, I have a couple marked in here of some applique quilts. This is cute. Adirondack quilt, it's called. And it has, you know, some other ideas of what you can do with the blocks. That's cute. This looks more cabin to me. We have cottage. Is that a difference to other people? This looks like I should be in the woods with this as opposed to on the seashore, but it's cute. I marked it in here because, oh my goodness, look at these. Oh. There's no way I would be, no, not gonna happen, but oh my goodness, wouldn't it be hilarious for me to knit a sweater, an applique? Yeah. No, but it made me laugh. And then here's another, let's see, what's this guy called? Oh, it's a log cabin, but log cabin with some applique stuff, which is kind of cool. Yeah, so more little things that I will play with in there. And then I got one more called Noodle Soup. Make a dozen quilts from 2-inch wide strips using fast and accurate rotary cutting techniques. Accurate, I gotta work on that. Who knew cutting would be so hard? So anyways, I got those 3 magazines, 3 books, and then also from the thrift store, I got this tablecloth. It's stamped, printed, something. Who did I see working on one like this? Oh, was it Allie? I think so. Allie from Misfit Stitches. Does she have one of these? Maybe not. I can't remember. Anyways, I saw someone working on something like this that was Christmas themed. I saw this with the butterflies. Love it. All you have to do is supply your own DMC, which that sounds like fun. So I got that, and I got my first scroll rods. Let's see, I got this guy that my Santa's bouquet was on. I've never used, oh, that's a lie. Another lie, oh my goodness, I do have scroll rods. I have Omanic scroll rods, ginormous ones that I use for, currently I have a chatelaine on one, and I've been using them for Hades, but these are just tiny ones. So I got this guy was $2, and I got another little guy for $3. So that's fun. And that was my Kiwanis haul. All right, next. My parents, like I said, live in the Okanagan, and they live in a small town, and the next largest town where we flew into, called Penticton, they have a quilt store. So I had to go, of course. And went on vacation. What do you get at the quilt store? You know, a fat quarter or two? No, I bought an entire quilt kit. This was hanging in the window, and I wanted it. So this is surrounded by rock candy stars. It was a quilt of the month, 7-month quilt of the month from Wilmington Batiks, featuring rock candy. Love a rainbow. So it was set up as a 7-month block of the month. So let me just quickly show you the beautiful colors that are in here. Again, why I would buy an entire quilt kit is beyond me. Packing was fun to come home, but I love it. I love it. I love the colors. And like I said, it's 7 months. And in my brain, I thought, okay, well, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. I can have it done by April. And ready for the next cottage season. Because, yeah, that's going to happen. All right, so I got that. And I also got, they had these cute little scrap packs. They're 5-inch scraps. And it looked like what they do is each, oh my gosh, there was some Minecraft. My kids will, oh, there he is. We'll love that. It looked like each month they basically took a sample of what their stock was and they made these these scrap packs. So this is 125 5-inch squares from, I can't remember what month and year, but yeah, I thought it would be fun for paper piecing. Hello. Just, you know, random scraps, good times. All right, so that was the quilt store. Then after a week with my parents, oh my gosh, cats. Found a paper bag. After a week with my parents, we flew to Edmonton to visit my partner's parents and to spend 5 nights at the West Edmonton Mall, which is, I think, the biggest mall in Canada. It's large. It's got an amusement park and a water park and mini golf and shopping. Oh, and an ice rink. Yeah, it's got a ton of stuff. So we went there, and I mentioned in my last video that I found that there was actually going to be a cross-stitch retreat. And I was desperately looking for fabric for this guy. And was having no luck locally. So I thought, well, I'm going to go there and I'm going to search for fabric. I have a black floss that I was planning on using. That's mostly black. There's a tiny bit of orange in there. The yellow that you see is from the fabric that they used. So mostly black, some orange. And so I went in search of fabric. And I found 3 possible contenders. And then when I brought them home, oh, that actually doesn't look too bad. My black floss that I have is Classic Colorworks Belle Soie in the color Noir, which is actually more gray than black. So I wasn't sure about it. So anyways, here's the 3 fabrics I chose. We have a 28 count linen in the color Mire. So that's how that looks on there. This is the one that I think I'm leaning towards the most. I got a fat quarter of this. It's fun. So there's my first choice, I think. Then I have a 28 count in the color Haunted. That's what it looks like with that. It's also a possibility. And then I have, what is this guy? 32 count in the colorway Nocturne. Ooh. Yeah, that's probably pretty close to it. So yeah, I have these 3 fabrics. I think I am leaning most towards Mire, mostly because I love the modeling. It kind of reminds me of what's going on, oh dear, in here. And I feel like it will be easier for me to put something else on these 2. But like I said, I was a bit disappointed that my memory of this floss that I had at home was not quite right. Although, you know, it does look good. Urgh. I don't know. I was hoping it was going to be more stark black. But then I was scrolling Instagram yesterday, as you do, and saw that Hand Dyed by Rolanda had just released some more flosses into their Etsy shop. And I went on and they had a 50-yard skein of a cotton called Raven. And it's a variegated, and I mean, on the computer, it looks black. So I ordered 2 of those. And we'll see how that looks when it gets here. We want to start this, Elizabeth and I want to start this on Friday the 13th. Right now it is Sunday, just before that, the 8th. In Canada, tomorrow is Thanksgiving, so it's a holiday. And my Hand Dyed by Rolanda order said that it would be here between August 12th and August 30th, because Canada Post is fantastic. So fingers crossed it's the 12th, 13th. But like I said, tomorrow's a holiday, who knows? But yeah, maybe I like this. I don't know. Anyways, so those are the 3 fabrics that I chose as possibilities for my All Hallows Eve sampler. But of course, I couldn't just buy 3 pieces of fabric. I got more. So I also got, this is a 32 count in Oaken, which is beautiful. Also a fat quarter. And this one is a 36 count Legacy. So pretty. No plans, just beautiful. And I got more fabric. Now these ones are 8ths and they are in bags that I'm not going to take them out of. Sorry. Hopefully glare isn't too bad. So here's an 18 count Ada colorway Rubius. That's fun. Fun. It's like a pinky red. Needle Bling Designs, linen, creme de menthe, 32 count. Beautiful. This one, I saw it and I just love the color. Colorway is Sahara by Perman. It's a 32 count linen. It just looks fall to me. Yeah. And then these are both Needle and Flax Andorra. This is a 32 count linen. I love the modeling in that. And this is a 40 count linen, also in Andorra. Beautiful. And then lastly, a 40 count Legacy. Yeah, love it. I think if they had the Andorra in a fat quarter, I probably would have gotten that for All Hallows Eve, but they only had it in 8ths, which was not big enough. And I got one more piece of fabric. This is, it's a half yard of 36 count raw linen mini dot. I got this because I want to join in with, why can't I think of people's names? Oh my goodness. I want to join in with, oh, here we go. Cross Stitch Kate. Oh my goodness. She's doing a birthday start on November 1st. The houses on Peppermint Lane. I will put a picture in here. They are patterns by Pansy Patch Quilts and Stitchery, and I'm gonna stitch them all separately, finish them separately as houses. I have, like, you know those ceramic Christmas Village houses? I have a huge assortment of them, but like I said, I also have cats. And I didn't put them up last year because we had a new puppy, and I don't intend to put them up this year because of Kitten. So I thought, oh, I'll stitch some houses and then I can just hang them. That'll be fun. So that's starting on November 1st. And there's 9 in the series. And I believe our plan is to do them monthly. We'll see. All right, so that's all the fabric haul that I got. This is all from Embroidery Marketplace. They hosted the retreat along with, oh goodness, my brain. Cute as a button needle minder. So they were both there. So I got all of the fabric from Embroidery Marketplace, which is a shop out of Calgary. And I also got patterns from them. All right, so I got 4 of these. They're by Stony Creek, and they are delightfully cute. Believe, Joy, Peace, and Rejoice. Stitch count is, oh, here we go, 60, is it 61 by 61, I want to say. And yeah, they're just cute. I love Christmas. I also picked up 2 of these from the French Kitchen series. I got Strawberries and Mint and Apple and Sage. Megan from Megan the Wide-Eyed Stitcher is stitching. She actually got the entire, it was released as stitch along, I think, and she got the entire thing when it came out. I just found these two. They're gorgeous, cute. I want to put them in my kitchen. And yeah, she has all of them. I think there's 4 in the series, but I have 2. I'll have to find the other 2. They're by Hands On Design. But wait, there's more. 3 more patterns. This is Blooming Bouquets number 5, Bountiful by Jeanette Douglas Designs. Again, there's 5 in this series, I think. And they're kind of all seasonally. This is kind of the fall one. I just love the colors. And I love flowers. Here's the other ones, if you want to have a look. Oh, glare. There's kind of like a Christmassy one. There's spring and summer. Yeah, but I was just in this mood. All right, 2 more. Brenda Keys of the Sampler Company. Victoria Tile. More flowers. And glare. I know. So there we go. And also by the Sampler Company, Sampler Musings. I thought this was cute because sheep and the sea. And yeah, also some fall light colors. Beautiful. Okay, so that's all I got from, oh no, wait, but wait, there's more. After I got my 2 steals of a deal on scroll rods from the thrift store, Jennifer, the owner of Embroidery Marketplace, she had her project that she was working on at the retreat on, what are these called? She had them on different, handy clamp. The easiest scroll frame you'll ever use. And yeah, I would like to agree. It's kind of a cross between a scroll frame and a Q-snap. So on the Omanic frames, they have like the dowel that goes in. So you put your fabric and you have to kind of, I use like a credit card to smush it into the channel. And then I put the dowel in and that holds it. These ones are the ones that you would stitch onto that extra fabric. You stitch your project on there. These, oh my goodness, it's basically just a Q-snap frame. So that's awesome. So yeah, after my steal of a deal on 2 of them, I paid full price for this one, but it actually wasn't as expensive as I was expecting. Probably because I have those other very expensive Omanic ones. All right, so that was all of my haul from Embroidery Marketplace. And like I said, Cute as a Button Needle Minders was also there. Sorry, I have stuff all over this table. And they have a Facebook group, and I've ordered needle minders from them in the past. And the cool thing was that they have a program where if you buy 9, you get 1 free. I didn't know about it, forgot about it, I don't know. So I was shopping for needle minders and I picked out 2 and she said, oh, hey, you've shopped from me before. I have your punch card. Those are needle numbers 8 and 9, so you get to pick out a 10th one for free. I was like, what? How funny that I get to do that. She's out of somewhere in Alberta and I happened to get to do it in person. So I got these 3. Let's see, a witchy witch, a cute little fairy, and this is so true. I just want to go home and cross stitch. That is the story of my life. And from her, I also got a floss ring that has dragonflies. I love me a dragonfly. Here's my coffee mug, dragonfly. So yeah, I got all that. All right. When I got home, in the mail was, I've shown it to you a few times, but here it is again from Charting Creations. I got my pattern. So I am all ready. I got pattern. I got a brand new project bag. I've got fabric. I have floss, which might actually work, but I also have other floss in the mail that might come in time. We're ready. We are ready. All right. And then when I got home, I went to my local quilting store. because I am doing a quilt along with them where I started in September. You go in, it was only $20. They sent me home with fabric to make a ton of 4 patches. And then I go back the next month in October and they sent me home with Bella Solid in the colorway Snow. And it looks like this is going to go between all of these 4 patches to make the top, I guess. So yeah, so I get to work on this in October. There's 4 more months. And so each month is the same. You finish the part that they gave you and bring it back the next month, show them that you did it, and then they sent you home with the next. And for 20 bucks, I get a quilt top. Pretty sweet. While I was there, of course, I couldn't just pick up that. So I got this book, Pillow Talk, because I would like to make some pillow covers. It's a good reason to get this book. We have gone through a few couches in, you know, the past 10 years or so, just because. And it seems like we get rid of the couches, but we keep all the throw cushions. So we have a ton of throw cushions, aka pillow forms, and I would like to make some covers for them, possibly seasonally. So here's what's in here. Yeah, I love them. Probably won't make the American flag because, you know, Canada. But yeah, the rest are all fun. I'm sure that once I get the technique down of making pillows, I'm just going to go rogue and, you know, make my own, because that's how I do. And also from my quilt shop, which is, did I mention it? The Fabric Cupboard. I got one of these Riley Blake quilters clappers. I saw these and thought I can make that. You know, it's just a piece of wood. I can do that. No, I'm just in the amount of time it would take me to like source the wood, and actually I could be quilting, so I will buy one. All right. Other purchases that I made, like I said, I got those festive little fobs, the Harvest one, and I have en route to me, hopefully soon, Raven by Hand Dyed by Rolanda floss. All right, on to plans. So like I kind of alluded to earlier, I have done a complete overhaul of what my plans are for the next few months. Well, the next couple. So here was my September. It was Long Dog Samplers. And that went well. And then my plan was for this month to do Halloween. So I have all of my projects written down that I could do. I have my sales that I'm taking part in. And you know what? My Halloween projects just haven't really been calling to me. I don't know why. I don't know why. Like I said, I would like to finish Patchwork Halloween, and I'm pretty darn close to finishing Gigi. I have the bead pack. I'm just waiting for a beading needle. I have a tiny little bit of stitching crosses to do, and then we're off to the races with the beads. So my plan is to bring in autumn, and that's why I ended up continuing working on my autumn at Hawk Run Hollow. So I plan on bringing in autumn. The reason why I kind of, like I said, I wasn't reaching for my Halloween stuff, wasn't super into it. I don't know why. I have a ton of Christmas stuff. Let's see. I love Christmas. I love stitching Christmas. I would be stitching Christmas all year. But you probably don't want to see Christmas all year. Like I said, I was watching when I was cutting out the pieces for this quilt. I was watching Handmade by Sarah W. And she has a 12 Days of Christmas piece that she is just about finished. I have a couple of 12 Days of Christmas pieces that I would love to be working on. And along with, you know, I have a few monochrome samplers that are Christmas. I have a ton of Christmas. So I figured, you know what, in November, I'm not going to be able to hold off on Christmas. My plans were originally October Halloween, November autumn, December Christmas. And I thought my Christmas is going to be inching into November. I have fall stuff that I want to be working on. I'm not super into my Halloween stitches right now. So I'm going to do Halloween and autumn. I will still be working on my Trans Pride tapestry on the 17th. The 24th and 25th, I will be stitching Christmas. I'm starting my All Hallows Eve sampler with Elizabeth from Savory Stitching on the 13th. And yeah, it'll move into fall. And then in November, I'm planning autumn and Christmas. And then December will be Christmas, Christmas, Christmas. All right. Also November 1st, I'm going to be starting those houses on Peppermint Lane with Cross Stitch Kate. All right. Then I also have some longer term plans. I joined a Facebook group. I found out about it when I was at the retreat in Edmonton. I found out about this cross stitch group. It's called Leap Year Sal 2024 to 2028. So the gist of it is you pick a huge project. It's going to be a new start on Leap Day of next year, February 29th. And basically post a progress pic every year, maybe throughout the year if you want. But this should be a big project that you plan on possibly finishing in 4 years. My plan is to do Long Dog Samplers Saga. I have 3 long dogs, as you saw, already started. So why not throw another one in? I really want to do it in Silks for You silks. This is the largest long dog, and I have a feeling that it's going to take one hank of silk is going to be kind of pushing it. So I think I'm going to need 2. So my plan is to order that and have it ready to go February 29th. So go check out that group. I think the kind of loose guidelines are kind of make it 100 by 100 if it's a full coverage. You know, long dogs are great. Chatelaines are great. Hades, go for it. Anything. So that's long-term plan. And then longer term, I decided, you know what, maybe I can get to more retreats if I can bind them with visiting family. So there's another retreat in Edmonton called Stitch and Stash. It just happened this year in June. It's at the Fantasyland Hotel, which is the hotel that's attached to West Edmonton Mall. And it's going again next year. So I registered for it, June of 2024. I'll be going back to Edmonton. We can do some family visiting and I can cross stitch to my heart's content. So that's coming up. Other plans. I have a whole bunch of the month things coming up where I want to get like one thing done a month. Like I said, those houses on Peppermint Lane, there's 9 of them. That's starting November 1st. I have my new quilt kit, which is 7 months, which if I start this month, I should be able to get done by April. My 100 club, that's 6 months. I'm on month 2, so it's going to be done February. I also have Little Dove Designs. I'll put it up here. I have a monthly that, you know what, I'm over, I would say must be over halfway through it. I would love to have those. I'm stitching them all separate. I'd love to have them finished. Maybe I can hang them where I'm going to be hanging the Festive Little Fobs, you know, monthly. I have, like I said, I have a couple of 12 Days of Christmas. I have a Teresa Wensler one, which my original plan for this year was to stitch one of the 12 days every month. And I believe I got the first day done in January. And then in February, I broke my hand and fell off the bandwagon. So I would love to work on that once a month. I also have the Liz Matthews 12 Days of Christmas, which I am not crazy enough to say that I can do that one a month. I'm doing that all on one piece of fabric. I am partway through the first day of Christmas. I think she's released up to 9. I would love to be working on that every month. Handmade by Sarah W. Love her channel. She has in behind her, they're by From the Heart Needle Art. It's a monthly Quaker series. I would love to do those. They require 3 threads each, and I thought that would be a great way to use. I'm a member of the Roxy Floss Co. Floss of the Month. I get both the brights and the neutrals, so that's 10 skeins. I'm also a member of Hand Dyed by Rolanda's Floss of the Month, which is 5 skeins a month. So every month I have 15 skeins of floss coming into my house. It would be great to use those on the monthly Quakers. So yeah, I would love to be getting all of these, you know, monthly things worked on and finished, which, you know, it sounds like a lot, but at the same time, I kind of feel like it reminds me of something that I was told by a psychologist about 6 or 7 years ago. Little story about 6 or 7 years ago, I ended up going to a psychologist for some help because I didn't enjoy how I was acting as a parent. I found myself getting angry really quickly, and I didn't like that. I didn't want to be angry. And my job, I don't think I've ever talked about my job. I am an air traffic controller. And at my job, if I say something, if I tell you to do something, guess what? You have to. Yeah, like I tell pilots to turn, they have to turn. With kids, I tell them to do anything. They don't. So I found that I was getting to anger too quickly, and I didn't like it. So anyways, I was talking to this guy, and he told me, and this has stuck with me, he told me, well, Stephanie, the solution, it's simple, but it's not easy. Just don't get angry. I was like, how much am I paying you? And this is what you came up with? Simple, but not easy. Don't get angry. And that has stuck with me. And it really did flip a lot of who I was as a parent on its head. It amazingly worked. So anyways, to bring this back to stitching, yeah, it's to get all of these, you know, month-long goals done. It's simple, but not easy, right? It's simple if I should be able to finish, you know, finish a monthly stitch and be able to finish the block of the month. Like, these are not things that are going to take an entire month to do. I should be able to do that. Simple, but it's not easy to avoid all of the squirrels. Yeah. So anyways, I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, those are my long-term plans. I would love if anyone is, you know, interested in working on any of those with me to kind of keep me on track. I can help keep you on track. We can both distract each other with other shiny pretties and both fall off the wagon. I don't know. I'm rambly now. And yeah, I got to get this edited. I need to clean all of this up. I can finally put away all of this haul that I have. And yeah, thank you so much for sticking with me just over an hour. Holy cow. And I will see you next time, hopefully in 2-ish weeks. And yeah, thanks for joining me. See you next time. Bye-bye.